Hello. Today's lesson of the day will focus on playing triads, or practicing triads. Yesterday's lesson focused on inversions and positions or spacings of triads. So just to refresh, the inversions of triads are the order of the notes. So when you have a root position triad, it's stacked in thirds. And then if you flip the notes, so if you put the bottom note onto the top, you get an inversion, it's the first inversion. And then if you do that again, you flip the bottom note, in this case it's E, you put that onto the top, then you have second inversion. And spacing is the distance between each note. So in closed spacing, the distance is minimal, it's as minimal as possible. And in open spacing, there is distance in between the spacing of each note. So we have an E, a C, and a G here now. We have a sixth and a fifth, so big intervals there. So that's inversions and positions. So now, actually practicing triads. So why should we even do this in the first place? Well, triads occur in music very frequently. Sometimes, if you circled, for example, in an etude or a simple piece of music, if you circled all the triads, you'd be circling the majority of the etude or the piece. They often appear they do often appear in blocks like this, but they also appear in arpeggiated form, in broken up. That kind of thing. So, that's one good reason to practice them. And another one is I think they make for great technical work exercises that are much more musically relevant and perhaps interesting than some of the other exercises that modern guitarists tend to practice, which are basically like just about moving your fingers. I think with triads you're moving your fingers, but you're also doing some intelligent musical practice as well. Practice that is directly relevant to music theory, the building blocks behind music composition, improvisation, that kind of thing. So I hope that convinces you a little bit. So I'm just going to play the triads in closed position and in all inversions, starting from the low part of the fretboard and going up high. And then I'll play triads in open position, doing the same thing, in open spacing. So here are the closed spacing triads. Now the open-spaced triads. So you could practice them just as I did there, or you could also do some more perhaps interesting things. You could add some pretty simple arpeggio patterns and already create a fairly challenging exercise. So something like thing you can do, which is interesting, is you could think of each note as a separate voice. For example, so we have 3 notes, so you could think of, you know, like a bass, tenor and alto, and you can focus on just bringing out one of those voices for the entire exercise. So I think the most difficult for me, the most challenging, is the middle voice. You could think of it as like the tenor voice. So for that first closed position triad, it would be the middle C, the C in the middle of the chord on the 5th string. So you could just even try doing that first. If you haven't done that kind of thing before, you might be surprised at how challenging bringing out a middle voice of a chord can be on the guitar. Especially when we have the thumb involved as well. It can be easy to make the thumb overpower, and it can be easy to make the top voice overpower. But to get the middle, and then you can try to do that across the exercise. And so on. So there are just a couple of things you can do, a couple of different approaches you can use to practice triads with. As I said, triads are in pieces. They're one of the most fundamental building blocks of music. I will have a link where you can download the C major triads that I just played for you. It's taken from my book, Fundamental Harmony, and I have I'm completing a harmony course as well, which goes through all the theory behind triads and cadences, modulations, and intervals. And each exercise has a video where I go through the exercise and sometimes talk about them if there are things to talk about. So. But for now, I hope you enjoy playing those triads, and they're beautiful too. Just enjoy the beauty of the triads. They're really a beautiful way to practice the guitar. So, thank you.